Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your boy Average Fisherman. Check it out. Today we're going to cover a little bit of Samrayburn fishing content that I have. I went out today for a little while on the lake. I actually had an outstanding day considering we're post cold front, big bluebird skies out there. Actually had a phenomenal day, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what I was doing in today's video. Hopefully help you all get on some fish, because I know it's been tough for some people out there. So without further ado, let's dive into today's awesome video. First and foremost, welcome back, Average Fishing family. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you're new to this channel, hit subscribe and like. It goes a long ways and it helps me out, guys. And I'm always putting out fresh content for Samrayburn on what to do, what not to do, what to throw, etc., etc., etc. And if you find yourself having a little extra time, if you could go over to Facebook and type in Average Fisherman, hashtag Chad Marler, and hit follow and like for me, that would be huge. I'm greatly appreciated, and I'm very humbled every day as my page continues to grow. With that being said, Tuesday at 7 p.m. over at Fishing with Rick's page, we're going to be doing a live stream covering everything about Rayburn and answering everybody's questions. We're also going to be doing a little giveaway. We're giving away an Insane Fishing jersey, and we're giving away an old 18 rod. In order to be eligible for that, everybody keeps asking me, how are we going to be eligible? You have to like and follow both of our pages on Facebook to be eligible for that drawing. Who doesn't like free stuff? And all you got to do is hit follow and like, guys and girls. With that being said, let's talk about today's video. So, in my prior videos, you heard me saying that I was starting out shallow, throwing moving baits and going down the way. Not this time. I went ahead and started out deep, and a big factor of why is because the lake is over 3 foot low now. And if you fish Rayburn any time this year, you know that we don't have a major component that usually helps that shallow bite in the fall, because the bait fish get up there and hang around that hydrilla. No hydrilla. Sorry. There's very little in the lake, and it's really changed the way the lake has fished this fall. With that being said, a couple weeks ago, you get up there around the hay grass and throw frogs, buzz baits, moving baits, and just get smashed. So with the lake coming over, it's now a little over 3 foot low. That's really repositioned those fish to pull back off that shallow water and start setting up deeper. And what I mean deeper is a lot of the damage that you're going to see in some of these videos. I just did a few videos and I got a picture, and I also added a picture of some structure that I was throwing at. Okay. I started out deeper. I started out fishing these drains, the channel swings. I was idling until I seen structure and fish. Okay. And with that being said, the bait fish almost was everywhere that I went today. There was very few pockets that didn't have bait. Sometimes there was an overabundance of bait, and that could be bad sometimes, because if there's so much food out there, the bass really don't have to chase much, right? So I started out doing the same thing, idling the channel swings, idling, you know, these creek channels, these drains, looking for the fish and looking for how they were set up. Being post cold front, they're a little finicky today. Okay, so I had a great day. I had somewhere right around 17 pounds a day, and I say finicky, but it was a tough bite until I got dialed in with what they were biting on, and after that it was hammer time. I caught 2-pounder after 2-pounder, and then I got into some better fish. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and insert the videos and a picture of some of the structure that I was fishing. I didn't put a bunch of them up, guys, because there was just so many, you know, fish catches in that 2 to 3 pound range. And unfortunately, I didn't get the one of a better fish that I caught. For some reason, sometimes the GoPro, I think it hears me say stop recording, even though I don't. And it just shuts off. Really annoying if you own a GoPro. You know what I'm talking about. So, hey, let's throw these fishing catches in here. Right here. got that one. I can't explain how slow you have to be dragging it right now. It's just these fish have gotten cold. Not a bad one. Crushed it. Bunch more down there too. I mean, he just crushed it. Look at that. How about that for... Alright, so there's just a few. I caught a ton in that range. That little 2.5, 3 pound range. I mean, I just got on them and it just took off. I did all my damage today. So let me tell you how I started off and what I started off throwing, and let me tell you why I switched. So everybody can kind of learn from this, that the ones that are watching right now that, you know, have a hard time when you go out on days like this. So when I got out there, I started right off the bat throwing an Alabama rig, a crankbait, and then I had my dragging baits, my Carolina rig, jig, you know, and so forth. So what I saw on my live scope, and if you don't have a live scope, it's okay. I'm going to explain how to tell. I was throwing the Alabama rig down there, and man, they were after it. Like, they were coming after it, and they were just smacking it. Like, it wasn't like they were trying to eat it. They were just trying to smack it to kill it. Okay. So I picked up a crankbait. I fired the crankbait out there. I was running this crankbait, and they smacked it a couple times, but they just didn't eat it. So when that starts happening, you know, usually it's a tall tale sign of it's not that they don't want it. They're just smacking it to kill it. And that feeding window starting to turn off is another prime example when they start doing something like that. Another reason that they do it like that is because they're just not maybe feeling that size of bait, or, you know, they're, like I said, finicky. You can tell. So they were just smacking it. But on my live scope, I could see them chasing it, and they were coming after it, and they just follow it, and they might swipe at it, and that'd be about it on the Alabama rig. So I said, you know what? There's bait here. As you could see in the video, I was targeting laydowns, you know, some brush piles that were right around all these channel swings and these drains. I was targeting structure, okay? I wasn't going out there just in the middle of a muddy drain and just dragging the center of it. No. Fish need structure. Fish need somewhere to set up and ambush their food when it comes by. Right now, the food being bait. So you've seen in the picture, that's just one of the pictures that I took real quick to show you guys an example of what I was targeting in the drains. Because right now, that's really the only place for them to be. That's the only structure they have. They're down in those drains. They're pulling up. They're setting up on the logs. They're setting up on brush piles. And when the bait's coming by, they're crushing them. So on one of them, you see me set the hook, and you hear me say, I can't explain how slow you have to drag right now. That is a fact. Everybody's throwing these baits in there, and everybody's, you know, dragging out real quick, throwing them in there, dragging out, throwing out, you know, a Carolina rig out there and just dragging it along real fast. Slow down. These fish are used to seeing a bait come in and leave, bait come in and leave. Slow down. There are Florida string bass in Samrayburn. If you live down here and you fish down here a lot, you know that. When it starts getting cooler and cooler, they tend to kind of lock up and get real slow. And it's really not that cold. The water is only 63 degrees, but those Florida string bass don't like stuff like that. So I was throwing a full-size brush hog in that brown and purple color. It's one of my go-to colors every year as the fall and winter comes on. It's green pumpkin and purple fleck. It's a phenomenal color. The other one that I really highly recommend is, you know, anything with purple in it. this time of year, you can buy different variations of like the purple with the brush hogs, but I was throwing a full-size brush hog on my Texas rig, and they were munching it. I mean, they were munching it. Early in the morning, I started off with a Green Pumpkin Magic brush hog on my Carolina rig. I caught several on that. It just didn't seem like I was getting, you know, any bigger than that 2-pound range. So I beefed up my lure selection to a full-size brush hog. I was still catching the 2-pounders, but now I was starting to catch more of the bigger 2-pounders in the group, in the area I was in at starting off. So you see me doing damage with that, but also I was doing a lot of damage today on a jerkbait. I don't throw a jerkbait a lot, but when I do, it's in conditions like this. And you hear me say that he just crushed it. They were crushing that jerkbait. I mean, smashing it. And I wasn't leaving it pause too long. It was jerk, 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 jerk. And then, I mean, I was really jerking it, you know. And when you work a jerkbait, you got to have a rod that's, you know, capable of, you know, that parabolic flex and that bend, but stiff enough that you can cast, okay? So I was throwing mine on a 7'3" medium heavy old 18 suppressor rod. I was throwing the Mega Bass in the thread fin color. I do like the Mega Bass jerkbaits because they have the weight transfer system in it. And if you've ever thrown a jerkbait, sometimes they don't go very far because they're too light. I was throwing the Mega Bass one. Unfortunately, I would show it to you right now, but I lost it later on. I think I ran into something and it wasn't coming up. So there goes 15 bucks. But with that being said, it was in the thread fin color. It was a Mega Bass. I typically like the Mega Bass ones because of the weight transfer system, but the finishes on those Mega Bass ones, they have some phenomenal finishes on them. They look so real. And another reason I like the Mega Bass ones is because it's a slow sinker. The one I was throwing was when you could see it on the live scope, you know, you could jerk, 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 and you get right above that cover, and I could let it slowly sink down just a little bit and then jerk it back up to keep myself from getting hung up. Well, I still got hung up. I was playing with fire, and I knew I shouldn't have been, but I was crushing them doing it. So how I was using the jerkbait, that picture that you seen, I was getting over there. I was running that jerkbait over top of the cover, and I'm telling you, they just couldn't take it. They were coming up munching it. I caught one right around 4 pounds on it. I didn't get the video take of it, but I mean, man, he crushed this thing so hard that I thought the fish was a lot bigger than that. It actually yanked down on the paws, and I was like, oh my gosh. I thought it was a crappie at first, the way it hit it. You know, those, you know, how crappie run out there and grab something real quick and they take off, you know, and then you're rigging a new worm up a couple seconds later. But I was working that bait in those drains around the cover, okay, and I was rotating my selection. What I would do is I would pull up to a spot, and when I seen them, I was staying every bit of at least 80 to 90 up to 100 feet back from these fish. I tell you that because it's extremely important. A lot of people have a tendency with the live scopes and the Mega 360s that you get too close to your fish and they can feel it. As soon as you back off a little bit, they'll start smashing it. So I was using my live scope in perspective mode. I don't have a 360, and I would just barely start to see the cover because I've already done my homework for the back, right? I've already located the fish on the structure. I've got my waypoint. I'd spin back around, drop the trolling motor in, and start easing closer so I didn't spook the fish. And what I would do is I'd get out there and I'd set up over them, and I'd start off I'd fire out that full-size brush hog in that green pumpkin and purple, and I would just drag slow, okay? Whether it be a log or a brush pile or whatever these fish were set up on, I would take my time and drag really slow. And the bite wasn't like they were crushing it on the bottom as they were crushing the jerkbait. The bite on the bottom, you'd feel yourself go over whatever structure you were fishing, you know, and you knew you were around the fish. And if you were lucky, you got a tick, but 9 times out of 10, it was just real heavy, okay? I lost one right around that 6-pound mark today. I just didn't get her stuck very good. One, I was making real long casts, and two, when these fish are going down there, they're just picking it up and holding it. And when I say they're holding it, you can see my fist, they are like holding onto it so tight. You really got to set the hook on them, especially on a long cast, okay? So I had pulled up to an area later on in the day. I kind of went back. I was up north kind of messing around a little bit, and then I pulled back south, and I started idling some stuff that traditionally I knew fish had been in this time of year. And what was crazy is I checked this area last weekend, and there was nothing. Pulled up there today, it was loaded. I made cast after cast after cast at the same area, and I just caught 3-pounder after 3-pounder after 3-pounder. Caught one at 4. Had I got that one that was 6 pounds or better, I would have had a really solid bag. One of those, very competitive 20-pound range bags. Didn't happen. It's okay. I was fun fishing. But with that being said, guys, go out there, be safe on Rayburn, okay? I was throwing that green pumpkin and purple brush hog full size on a Texas rig with a 1/2 ounce. Tungsten weight on it. I had it pegged. I was throwing that on a 7'6" heavy old 18 suppressor series rod. My jerkbait rod was a 7'3" medium heavy old 18 suppressor series rod, and I had them both on 15-pound tests. Take your time when you go out there. When you locate these fish, drag slow. The jerkbait was working, okay? And for everybody out there that is watching this video and you guys are, wondering, when you feel fish just smack at your bait, change it up. Go a little more finesse. That jerkbait, I was working it hard, but the pauses and it slowly sinking was a little more finesse than your traditional Alabama rig running through there, everything flashing, or a crankbait, real loud. That jerkbait was the ticket today. And, when I finally, scaled up to a full-size brush hog, man, they were eating it. I mean, they were crushing it. With that being said, guys, be safe out there. The lake's getting lower and lower each day. So the stuff that you typically run over, don't do it. Just don't do it. It starts getting real dangerous around, this 4-foot low, because you start seeing stuff that you had no idea was ever there. So with that being said, I hope everybody enjoyed the video today. Thank you all so much for watching my videos. And if you get time, go over there to Facebook and follow and like my page. It helps me out tremendously, and it goes a long ways, guys. And I hope to see you all Tuesday at 7 p.m. over at Fishing with Rick's page. Stop by, say hi. Ask us a couple questions, because we're going to give you honest answers. So, as always, God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Until next time, everybody, out.